Hello and welcome to a special edition of 12 News, honoring Hispanic heritage in Mississippi and across the nation. I'm Melanie Christopher.
I'm Byron Brown. We have a lot of ground to cover in this next half hour. We'll hear from Latinos who are making inroads in Mississippi, law, education, and commerce. We'll also examine Hispanic culture and cuisine in the Magnolia State.
We'll hear the story of migrant farmer turned astronaut Jose Hernandez, a journey that's chronicled in the film A Million Miles Away. And we'll talk about some opportunities to celebrate Latin culture in your community. Many Mississippians may not even realize how deep our Latin roots go.
Hispanic influence in Mississippi can be traced back to the early 16th century. And that's when Hernando de Soto and his expedition explored the region and encounter the Mississippian culture of Native Americans. In the 18th century, Spain's colony of Spanish West Florida included large parts of present-day Mississippi.
The Spanish encouraged American settlers to migrate to the region. They formed alliances with the Choctaw and other Native American tribes, and they supported the American Revolution against Britain.
Now, in the 21st century, Mississippi's Hispanic population is on the rise. It increased by almost 29% between 2010 and 2020.
Now Hispanics comprise 3.5% of our state's population. We've been speaking with several of our Latino neighbors as we mark Hispanic Heritage Month. One of them is a woman who has been trying to make a difference in her community for years.
Elizabeth Velasquez even went back to school to see if a new degree can help bring new outcomes in some much-needed areas. Elizabeth Velasquez has been advocating for Hispanic Mississippians most of her life. It started when her mom and 4 other friends founded the Mississippi Hispanic Association when she was in college.
And ever since then, I've been volunteering with the organization. It's a nonprofit. And I've always worked with the Latin community. And growing up in Mississippi, I always wanted to fit in. But when I went to college, I think part of the self-discovery is just connecting with your Latin roots. And I just started to volunteer more and more. And it got to the point where if I wanted to be a better advocate for the Latino community or the immigrant community, I needed a law degree.
Elizabeth got that degree from MC School of Law and just took the oath to practice law in Mississippi last week. Constitution of the State of Mississippi. Elizabeth plans to use her degree to make a difference in her community.
I'm going into immigration law, and so I always say to myself, if I could just help a couple of families get, their documents and legal status, I would feel that is worthwhile life. I would feel so fulfilled. It's I'm getting emotional now, but that's it's very important to me because I think as a group, I think it's very important that we can succeed. I just can't imagine being having all this ability and wanting to do something, wanting to help my community, but having my hands tied, not being able to, and kind of living in the shadows and just not living to your full potential. I think to me, that's the worst.
Elizabeth currently works for the Mississippi Immigrants' Rights Alliance, known as MIRA. There are about 95,000 Hispanics that call Mississippi home. Elizabeth says, while the numbers aren't as large as some states, it's important to celebrate Hispanic heritage.
Because I think it gives you a different perspective being from 2 different cultures. You can be American. I'll consider myself being American overall culture and then the Latin culture as well. And I think that gives you a different perspective that you can, being bilingual, that you can contribute more. I think that enriches American culture overall. And I think Hispanic Heritage Month kind of just reminds you that diversity is good. And we're more enriched by having different point of views.
Different points of view and different ways of expressing them, too. We'll stay in the field of law for a moment. The 2023 state legislature broadened access to court interpreters for people who are limited in their understanding of English or who speak English as a second language. 12 News' Tia McKenzie spoke with Deanie Miller, Director of Language Access for the Mississippi Administrative Office of Courts. And Miller told her there's a big demand for Spanish translators.
Well, actually, out of our 44 credentialed interpreters, 11 reside out of the state. And it is so important and vital that we get, especially Spanish interpreters that are qualified to work in our court system. Spanish is the most requested language. And now that the county or municipality, they're required to pay for the interpreters, it's more cost beneficial for there to be in-state qualified interpreters that are close by, because the counties or municipalities sometimes have to fly in interpreters and pay for their travel and lodging. And we have such a vibrant, wonderful Hispanic community. We just need to get them to learn about our program. It took a while for the legislature to appropriate the funds to allow a full-time language access coordinator in this position. But in just over a year, we have accomplished so much. And there's the misconception that a court interpreter is only there for the limited English proficient individual. That's not the case at all, because if there's not a qualified interpreter telling the judge or the jury accurately what the litigant is saying, then there's no way a judge can effectively administer justice. So it is just as important for the court personnel and the judges as it is for the limited English proficient individual.
Teachers of English as second language curriculums are in high demand too. Renata Gill teaches ESL at Hines Community College. As she talked with 12 News' Richard Lake about the challenges her students often face.
Can you kind of put into context for us how much of a hurdle it is to maybe come into learning the second language, at a time where there are probably a lot of adults, I assume, that are coming in and learning this language?
I think it gets worse, I guess, when you, after the age of 13, that when you start learning a different language than your own language, and and it gets more difficult. It requires a lot of repetition, lots of reading. It's a lot of challenges for.
And I'm sure you've seen a bunch of students overcome those challenges. Can you tell me some of the most rewarding experiences that you've had with these students?
I've had a couple of them, like the students trying to study for their citizenship and going over the questions, civics question, studying reading and writing and being interviewed, and finally passing the citizenship exam. These were like one of the most rewarding ones that I can think of from a couple of students I've had.
Mm-hmm. How do you assess the progress that they're making?
Yes, usually we test them right at the beginning when they enroll in our course, and usually after 40 hours of instruction, we post-test them to see how much progress they have made, and we keep assessing them every other 40 more hours of instruction.
Inevitably, some of Renata's students may go on to become members of Mississippi's business community. Latinos are said to be the fastest growing segment of the business community, with more than 5 million businesses across the country. There's a catch, though. Very few are moving from being just a small business to becoming a $1 million company.
The Stanford Research Project on Latino entrepreneurs estimates that the annual payroll of Latino-owned businesses grew over twice as fast as those of white-owned businesses in the last decade. That report also found that Latino-owned businesses have lower approval rates than white businesses when requesting loans above $50,000. Now, a group of Latino angel investors is looking to change the outlook for Latino businesses in every corner of the country.
Many, many businesses are below $1 million in revenue. And it's because there isn't the capital needed to fuel growth.
If you look at our community, hardworking, innovative, energetic, the grit that we put into the businesses, we believe there's an opportunity to make a definite, strong return on investment.
We'll get a real taste of Hispanic cuisine after the break.
12 News special report on Hispanic heritage returns in a moment.
If you're looking for authentic Hispanic food to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, some local eateries have you covered. One of them is Zelia's Bakery in the city of Hattiesburg. The bakery serves sweets and cuisines from various Hispanic cultures such as tres leche cakes, tamales, and their bestseller Honduran tacos. Each product is made fresh and entirely from scratch each morning. Zelaya says it's important to her family to share their culture with customers through food and stories.
Ridgeland's Buenos Aires Bakery is another great example of an eatery with Latin roots. The history of Ridgeland's Buenos Aires Bakery begins in Argentina with a young girl watching and learning as her grandmother cooked and baked. Evelyn Aviles credits her abuela for her love of baking.
She would make our cakes for her birthday parties and like little treats and stuff in Argentina. So I always loved that. I enjoyed that and to be cooking with her.
When she was 9 years old, her father's company moved the business from Argentina to Mississippi.
Right, yeah.
She had to
I
learn a
wanted
new
something,
language and a new
different.
culture, but she never stopped baking.
So pretty much I started from home baking cakes, and I had people requesting, like friends of mine, asking if I could bake them a cake. And I was like, are you serious?
When the number of requests for cakes continued to grow, Evelyn decided to open a bakery. Her first location on Rice Road opened in November of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. Now, Buenos Aires Bakery has moved to its new location on Highway 51 in Trace Station, and the customers have followed.
And I come here at least twice a week. I do. I love it. The customer service is amazing. Their cuisine is out of this world, and it is fabulous.
The space has been renovated exactly to Evelyn's specifications. Modern tables on gleaming white marble floors, shining display cases, poster art depicting her beloved Argentina, and Spanish guitar music playing softly in the background make for a very welcoming space.
We've been getting a lot of new customers. We feel very, very welcome in this area. So we're very excited to be here, and we've had a lot of new people coming in.
Julio Lopez, who was born in Guatemala, took a short break from work to get a treat.
I think it was the fruit tart. I love that. I mean, that's why I come here all the time too.
Evelyn invited me back to the kitchen.
So now, what is this called? This is a fruit tart I'm going to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And you're going to do a little circle around it like that.
Not fill it. Fill the bottom?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is lemon. This looks delicious. Do a little more right
Yes,
around
ma'am.
there, because
Yeah,
that's what
edges.
people want.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, look. I might have a side job here.
Yep.
And blackberries.
Blackberries,
Oh, nothing
too.
better. Okay. I think that's pretty glossy, don't you think?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, I think so.
Proud.
I like it.
I love it. Thank you. That is terrific.
The fruit tarts with homemade shells and fresh whipped cream are a big favorite, but so are the custom cakes that Evelyn personally decorates.
So I wanted to bring a little piece of Argentina into Mississippi. So that's what that's how we came along.
Art is another profound expression of Hispanic culture. 12 News' Cameron Smith spoke with Marta Chara about her work in mosaics and the themes that she likes to capture in her medium.
What got you interested in wanting to do mosaics?
Like I said, initially, I was fascinated how the ancient people, they were doing mosaics with stones, and actually they have like a peak. That was really difficult, and I would say, oh wow, I like it more than just the painting. I don't know, it's probably more difficult, but it's just got fascinated. La finca cafetera that you're gonna see in a little while is in progress, and that happened a long time ago, maybe 6 years ago. I wanted to do a little piece of Colombia, where I am from, and I looking in the internet and download a picture. I looked several, and I said, I like this one. I'm gonna make it. I think I can make it big one, and I put it off. I couldn't start it. It's just like the white canvas syndrome, and I didn't start it. I said, no, I'm gonna do it one day when I go to Colombia and travel from the coffee area and take pictures and do my own pictures so I can say I was there. Finca is a coffee plantation. and they do coffee tours. And I said, I think it sounds good. And I called, and I never saw it. They didn't post it. I called, they have a room, and we went the next day. It was my surprise. You can't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. It was the same picture when I just got in. I said, I know this place. So when I came back and I said, now really I had to make it and I found I compared the two pictures. And I said, well, those was from the internet. That one, it was me. I stayed there. So that was like some nice coincidence. But again, it took a year or something to start it. Somebody informed me about Mississippi Arts Commission, and they give a grant, and they helped me a little bit. And I just, of course, I feel like more obligated to do it, and I'm working on it. So it's in progress.
After the break, some local festivals to help celebrate Hispanic heritage. And we'll preview a film that tells the story of Mexican-American astronaut Jose Hernandez, a million miles away. You're watching Hispanic Heritage, a special report on WJTV. We want to tell you about a couple of celebrations marking Hispanic Heritage Month. The nonprofit group El Pueblo is hosting a Hispanic Heritage Festival Saturday, October 7th at Scott County Coliseum in Forest. Now, this event aims to celebrate the cultures of the Latinx immigrants who make up a large part of Forest's population. Everyone is welcome. The festival runs from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. There will be Latinx food, artisan vendors, and live music.
And Jackson Public Schools will celebrate with an event called Fiesta Latina. It's set for Thursday, October 12th from 7 to 9 p.m. Fiesta Latina will allow JPS students to come together and learn more about the contributions of Hispanic Americans, history, culture, and achievements. The event will also feature traditional Spanish cuisine from students in JPS's culinary arts program.
A man whose odds were stacked against him, but that didn't stop him from chasing his dreams.
Jose Hernandez comes from humble beginnings, growing up in the fields of Stockton. His story is one of hard work and perseverance.
That go-getter mentality landed him with NASA. And as Vera Jimenez explains, there's a movie based on his life story.
It's a dream that started in the fields of Northern California. That dream took Jose Hernandez to the stars, literally. And now, his story of hard work and perseverance is being told on the big screen.
I want them to walk away after hearing my stories saying, if he did it, why can't I?
A Million Miles Away chronicles Jose's journey from migrant farm worker to NASA astronaut. Actor Michael Pena playing the role of Jose in the movie. His story brought to life and told through the lens of director Alejandra Marquez Abela.
My take on this, my vision from the start was to think of this story as one of a man who became an astronaut because he was a migrant farm worker and not despite it.
He grew up in a farm-working family. They spent 9 months moving from Mexico to Stockton to earn a living, just like thousands of other families did.
My mom would wake us up every morning, Monday through Friday, from 8 in the morning to noon. It was all the hot chocolate you can drink and all the bolillo bread you can eat, but we would have to do the day's homework.
Jose didn't become proficient in English until he was about 12 years old, but that didn't stop his second-grade teacher from recognizing the potential in him and his siblings, her interest leading to a life-changing moment.
That little 30-minute detour she took on her way home changed the trajectory of a whole family, and I love telling this story to educators, to teachers. Any little thing you do to help your students, you never know what that little thing's gonna set them up onto an incredible journey.
Jose's desire to go to space came on one fateful December day back in 1972. He was just about 10 years old. That's when he and his siblings watched Apollo 17 land on the moon on an old black and white TV.
Something very important that my father gave me, he immediately validated that dream. He empowered me and said, Yo creo que sí puedes. I think you can.
His road to the space agency wasn't easy. Jose was rejected 11 times. He was ready to give up, but his wife encouraged him to keep trying. To improve his chances of being selected, Jose became a scuba diver, a pilot, a marathon runner, among other accomplishments.
I felt tired and kind of complained and said, this is hard work. And I see my dad, I know he's tired. He's older than me, and I know he's tired, but he doesn't complain. He just keeps working and working.
In 2004, after his 12th year of applying for the program, Jose finally was selected for the 19th class of astronauts. His success, a testament to the hard work and discipline instilled in him from a young age by his father.
The recipe that my dad gave me, that Alejandra put in the movie so carefully, is, hey, identify your purpose in life, recognize how far you are, draw yourself a roadmap to get there, and then work hard, and that perseverance, never ever give up.
Before we go, we want to thank the Mississippi Hispanic Association for helping us connect with so many of our Latin neighbors.
We look forward to celebrating Hispanic heritage with you through October the 15th. I'm Melanie Christopher.
And I'm Byron Brown. From all of us here at 12 News, que sea una buena noche.